And the big question we're asking is, to what extent does Rajnath Singh's open dialogue and the promise to quickly address the issue of pellet guns send a healing touch message to the people of the valley? And to help us answer that, we have in the studio Pravas Kumar Mishra, is the former Additional Director General of the BSF and a Senior Fellow at the Vivekananda International Foundation, and Rahul Jalali is Senior Journalist. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being with us. We'll start with you, Mr. Mishra. Alternatives to pellet guns.
Yeah.
So what are they?
I can well tell you about the pellet guns itself, because we are making it at Isapur factory, ordnance factory at Isapur. It is more or less, we have copied it from Remington, USA. In USA, they use it in SWAT, by SWAT. It's a crowd control measure, and it so happened it has to be fired from a safe distance of 500 yards, and it has to be fired below the waist. But the worst part of it, when CRPF, who is holding about 600 such guns from 2010, and they are utilizing it in Kashmir and left-wing extremist area. Here, what happened in the mob? They are very close. And then you cannot take the aim to, so that you can fire it within the straight below the waist.
So you seem to be defending pellet guns, but I'm talking about moving beyond pellet guns now. Because in fact, that's what the Home Minister says.
We are having various alternatives.
Yes.
Because we have this pepper guns.
Okay.
Then we have chili grenades also.
Right.
Then tear smoke. I can well tell you about. See, taser guns are also available.
Okay.
And with that tear smoke guns, which BSF, the Ministry of Home Affairs, they are having a factory with BSF in Gwalior, in Tekkanpur. There, what can happen that its effectiveness can be increased by 50 to 60%. So that those tear smoke units, if they will be more effective, and it can be fired up to 600 yards or 700 yards, and its effectiveness can be increased. That will definitely.
But it should not be causing any deaths. It's not non-lethal, is what the important is. It's non-lethal. Mr. Jalali, the Home Minister has met all the political parties. He's met about 400 other people. We heard some of the sound bites. There seems to be, people are happy with the idea of dialogue within the boundaries of Kashmiriyat, Insaniyat and Jamhuriyat, and within the Indian Constitution as well.
Yes, certainly. I mean, look, the whole process was set in motion some days ago when the Prime Minister met a delegation of opposition leaders from Kashmir, where the template for what's going to happen was laid out by the Prime Minister. The Home Minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh, has carried it a bit further. He has defined what Kashmiriyat, Jamhuriyat and Insaniyat would mean, which is what Prime Minister Vajpayee had done in 2002. Precisely, he has talked about a slew of measures which they're going to take in Kashmir. Nodal person for people who study from Kashmir, and the number is huge. Apart from that, the issue of pellet gun, the fact that they have compressed a 2-month period into less than 1 month and a few days.
Yes, that's right.
It's a major statement coming from the Home Minister. Then the fact about creation of employment, but the main issue is that he has announced that the doors of the center are completely open for people of Kashmir to walk in and start a dialogue process. I think this is a very important message. Remember, when Prime Minister Vajpayee made this announcement, it took some time for even Hurriyat to come on board. They did start talking. The message was exactly similar as Mr. Rajnath Singh has given today, what the Prime Minister then, Mr. Vajpayee, did in that period. It took some time.
And in fact, he has said that we are willing to talk to separatists as well.
Well, not
quite,
so
but the question was asked. Yes,
but the question was not denied. The indication is definitely there. So I think it's a very positive message which has gone to people of Kashmir, especially on 2 counts. That sky is the limit, if I use that word. Insaniyat dialogue process will take place. Secondly, the pellet gun issue.
The pellet gun issue is extremely important, and we are looking at non-lethal methods that are going to be adopted. Mr. Mishra, 4,000 security personnel have been injured, and it's quite a large number when we look at it. So, I mean, they are at the receiving end as well.
No doubt.
So, what measures can be taken to see that they are not, given a bad time during this this situation of unrest?
Yes, with that I can say 4,000 maximum it goes to CRPF. See, they have about 1,500 CRPF men. They are injured, and a lot of them they were killed in grenade firing also. It so happened yet. Government has told these paramilitary forces to restrain.
Yes, exercise maximum restraint.
Maximum restraint, because there is a gap between the politicians and the youths in Kashmir.
Right.
Until unless we don't cover up these gaps, it will be you cannot control it by guns.
Okay.
And it's not that CRPF is the force for internal security duties and they have to be deployed. But as BSF was there 12 years before this, they were there. They did wonderfully well in that area. As because CRPF has faced this problem of pellet guns, and a lot of CRPF persons tactically they were injured.
Okay.
So again, government has thought of sending BSF, and BSF has taken over the Srinagar city areas. I hope there will be definitely more control over Srinagar, and both BSF and CRPF, they have been told to restrain, and it's very difficult for the troops. Once I can well tell you, if the troops themselves they are killed or they are injured, sometimes they think, okay, we can retaliate, but then they have the commanders in the field, they have to think what has happened in the past, in the last 48 days, what has happened. If we want to bring them back, we have to win over the hearts of these youths. Until and unless we don't do it, we can't achieve it by guns.
So Mr. Jalali, Mehbooba Mufti, the Chief Minister, says that 95% of the population want a peaceful resolution, and it's only 5% that are these miscreants. Now, these miscreants, how does one actually get them, to be with the rest of the 95%? Well, that is the whole process, isn't it?
Well, basically what the Chief Minister, Mehbooba Mufti, has suggested, that she's going to create an environment where the 95%, the figure she used, is able to operate according to their will. She did not.
They shouldn't be held ransom to the 5%.
By this 5%. So she also talked about measures where she will tackle the 5%, where the state security forces will tackle these 5%. And that's one. And secondly, I mean, she did not suggest that, she wants to create an environment, again, where you need a certain stability, a certain element of peace, where the dialogue can also take place. You cannot have dialogue taking place when there is a gun pointed at you.
Absolutely.
I think that is one major element in Kashmir.
And it also can't be taking place when there are stones being pelted as well.
Well, lethality is equally there. So let's not go into stones. But I'd use the word that when you are a target of violence, you cannot speak openly. So I think for anyone to indulge in dialogue, some space which is a peaceful space has to be created. And I think Mehbooba Mufti was hinting towards that, creation of that space. Because any dialogue process, remember, even when Prime Minister Vajpayee started a dialogue process, there was peace in Kashmir. Guns were not out on the streets, stones were not being pelted everywhere. So
what kind of role does the media play in this dialogue process, Mr. Jalali? Because that's very important as well, isn't it?
Media can play an extremely positive role, especially the local media. I'm aware that they're at the receiving end of violence, but nonetheless they have to push forward a strategy which has been outlined for them. Today's press conference was an opening given even to the local media, that they can play an extremely positive role in taking this dialogue process forward, rather than raising questions about who and what to dialogue, etc., etc. I think they have to look at the positives of the Home Minister's statement and carry it forward. They also have to look at the concern which the Prime Minister expressed. Prime Minister Modi did express concern about people of Jammu and Kashmir. He talked about that when any Kashmiri is injured or dies, he feels hurt. So I think this is where the media plays a major role in bringing peace in Kashmir.
Final word from you, Mr. Mishra. There is a report that says a Pava gun or something is going to be used where, you know, it gives out it's some sort of chili powder, you know, yes, yeah, and it stuns the person. The person becomes immobile for a while, and nothing really happens beyond that. That is apparently, according to reports, the suggestion that's going to be used.
Yes, the power gun mostly it will be giving the chili powder. It is like a grenade which can be thrown from a gun, which can be fired from the gun, and the effect will be more. It will be, of course, non-lethal, and the effectiveness will be definitely more. And this demonstration is going to take place very soon. Within 2 days, the demonstration will take place here in India. So perhaps this can be supplied. So we are thinking of that, and we are thinking of sound cannons, and we are thinking of enhancing the power of tear smoke cells, and utilizing the taser guns also. There are 4 or 5 types of guns are being.
So there are all various. There are various options which are non-lethal.
They are ready now,
right?
And we have it, and we are utilizing in the LWB and also in Bengal border, Indo-Bangladesh border.
We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us here on News Night.